Yes, Roshni ma'am, you can start.
Okay, sir. Good evening, one and all. Today is the last day of this 10 days international workshop. I welcome you all, and today we will have the continuation session of yesterday's, madam. Uh, I hand over to you, madam. You can start your presentation, please, madam.
Good evening, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Good evening. Good evening.
And it is my honor to present my second session on 10th International Day workshop. And I'm extending my gratitude to all the organizing committee for giving me this opportunity. So moving to my session, today I'm going to discuss with the report writing. I will share my screen in a while. Please excuse me. I hope the screen is visible to you.
Yes, yes, madam.
It's moving, right? Is it moving?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, thank you. So today's session is actually a continuation of yesterday's data interpretation session. And not only that, it is a culmination session of the entire 10 days workshop. So how do you conduct the research and how you can present that the entire findings to an academic community? And that essentially brings the quality of your work. So this is the most important phase in a way which requires most efficient work, organized and systematic work. Then only we will be able to present the findings to the audience in a convincing manner. So with that note, I will start with my sessions. So basically, what is meant by a report? We all know that I think report is a systematic and organized written document which defines, characterizes, and analyzes any particular subject that we are taking under study or a problem we are considering to explore further or any kind of facts or any phenomena. So whatever is conducted in research, so we are trying to put in the systematic and organized written work. This is known as report. And this report always is required to mark by most accurate, sharpened, and concise mode of writing with clarity, without any kind of ambiguity, and a well-structured format also required to be followed. Without a structured format, it is not possible for any researcher, no matter whatever way we conducted the research, to convey that information to the audience. Audience means it can be an academic or research community, or it can be a scholarly community, or it can be practitioners community, or it can be a normal people who are not part of the academic and research community. So depending upon our audience, we need to present our findings in a systematic way. And the scope and style of research report varies based on four main factors. First one is to whom we are submitting the report. If I'm doing a PhD or if I'm doing a MPhil program, and then to whom I am submitting my thesis. Normally, it is supposed to submit to the university. So I need to follow the standard guidelines and structure provided by the university. Instead of that, if I'm conducting a project, a funded research project, then to whom I am submitting. To whom I am submitting, that organizations or institutions standard guidelines we need to follow. And that is a one factor which decides the scope and style of the report. The same research we can publish to a journal, which will go to a big audience. And in that case, we have to stick to the standard guidelines and format of the journal that we are going to send it. The second factor is intended audience, to whom we are communicating the paper, to whom we are addressing the paper. So that includes either a scholarly community or a layman people. So for example, research, if you're publishing in a journal, it will be aimed for the scholars or researchers or academicians in the field of study. At the same time, same research, if it is very a socially oriented topic and is a very relevant information that we are able to find out, and then we can publish to on newspapers or any kind of magazine, online or offline magazine, newspaper article, social media, like that. In that case, our audience will be the normal people who may not be understanding the language, scientific language that we are using in the report. So in that case, the way we need to present our report should be in a different style. The third factor is purpose and type of the procedure or report. Then the last one is type of information to be communicated. These two are depends upon the methodology that we are following. If you're following a quantitative research, there is a way of writing a report. Instead of we are following a qualitative research, there is another way of reporting. So based on all these four factors, the scope and style of report will be varying. And if we are looking at the general guidelines before starting a report writing, what all things we need to keep in our mind? First of all, start early. At the earliest, if you're able to start writing and taking notes of each and every procedure and findings that we are come across, then it's good to incorporate everything we can incorporate without fail. And you have to always narrow down your points. We'll be having a lot of points in our mind, and we will think in a different way. But when you're writing it, you have to narrow down. You have to be very specific what you need to communicate to the audience. Then the third and fourth point is organize the information according to the structure where we are going to submit the report, and follow a systematic process of writing. You have to start from the beginning and follow a systematic way of writing based on the structure provided by the organization or institution. Then only you will be able to communicate things in a logical and convincing manner. Then while conducting a research and writing a research report, we may have to write multiple drafts actually. So from first draft to final draft, it is not possible to predict how many drafts required from one other side. That nobody can predict actually. As much as possible, revise the draft, proofread it, and then get the feedback from the core researchers or guides, and then revise it and then make the final draft. So maximum proofreading needs to be done from the side of the researcher. Then every time when we are writing something, we should be able to use the persuasive language. That means we should be able to convince the readers in a scientific way. So the language should be able to convincing to the audience. Then you have to follow a consistent and uniform style in your writing. For example, this one, if you are using the word self-esteem, it's a psychological concept. Self-esteem is a word which is somewhere it is using as a hyphenated word and somewhere it is not using as a hyphenated word. So in your research, how do you use it? You have to go with the current standard and use that consistent form of word, self-esteem, whether with the hyphenated mode or without the hyphenated mode, that you have to follow. And for example, another example, if you're following APA style of writing, the prescribed font will be Times New Roman and font size will be 12 throughout the report. So you have to follow that style also. Like that, with respect to language, words, and formatting guidelines, we have to follow a consistent and uniform style throughout the report. And that consistency and uniform style should be matched with the requirements or guidelines given by the institution or organization or the journals where you are submitting your paper. Then avoid the procrastination and always consult your supervisor or guide to help and corrections, and seek regular feedback. Incorporate all the feedback without fail. So this is the some points or some tips which is given by famous social science research Alan Bryman in 2012 as well as American University in 2009. Now, if you're moving to the different types of report, first of all, we can discuss about the dissertation related or thesis related report. So normally when you're starting a research proposal, we have to write the research proposal. And after conducting the research and analysis, Then we have to write a small synopsis of the entire study. And once that is approved, then we have to submit the thesis or dissertation. So the basic difference is that the first one is proposing the study with the accurate methods and everything. And the synopsis and thesis is the results. It is including introduction, supporting evidence, and methods, followed by the results and discussion. So this is the one type of sections, dissertation related or thesis related research reports. In that we can add funded research report also. It can be called as a research report. Then the same thing if you're going to publish as a manuscript or paper, article, all three terms are using in different settings by different journals and universities. Whatever it is all those things are intended the same meaning. So we have to write a small write-up, which is known as a paper or manuscript or article, to be published in a journal. So that is known as scientific publication. Here we can, from the research, we can have multiple kinds of research paper. First of all, empirical paper, which deals with the which is writing based on the data collected by the researcher himself for that particular study. So suppose you're conducting a research right now as part of your PhD, and you have collected data and you are analyzed that thing, and you can write a paper based on your findings from that data. That kind of paper is known as empirical paper. On the other side, conceptual paper or theoretical paper or methodological paper, these are the papers where you are focusing on either a concept or a theory or a methodology which you are following as part of your PhD or any research project, or as normal as a part of your practice. You can write on any concept or theoretical paper, theories or methodology, and make a paper. That kind of paper is known as conceptual, theoretical, or methodological paper, which don't require a real-time data. You can depend on the existing literature, existing books, and all those knowledge available, and you can write it. The third set of paper is a review paper. Normally, we are writing review of literature, doing the review of literature as part of a major research project. In that case, that review research can be published as a paper. So that is known as review paper. Again, the types of review which we can conduct in a research process will varying based on the requirements and the need. Starting with the traditional narrative literature review, then critical review, followed by scoping review, systematic review, meta-analysis. All those things we can adopt in our research study, and whichever method we are adopting, based on that we can write the paper and present our findings from the review of literature. Then case study is another option. If you want to conduct a particular in-depth study on a case or a client or an organization alone, you can present that also as a research paper. And second, the last one is research protocols. It is nothing else. It is research proposal itself. So what you have made as a proposal in the beginning of your study, that you can publish as a scientific paper in a national and international level index journals. For example, Social Science Protocol is a journal which actively publishing research proposals as a protocols. The advantage of publishing your proposal as a protocol in the beginning itself, that particular research idea is getting registered in your name. So you have the complete authority or ownership to that thing. So it is always suggested or advised from the expert committee to go for a protocol based publication in the beginning of your PhD or any research project. Then last section of the types of report is dealing with the scientific presentations. Again, this is based on the research that we are conducting. We can have paper presentation in international or national level conferences, or we can have poster presentations in international or national conferences. That also acceptable, and it requires the specific guidelines from the conference authority or organizing people. So these are the different types of research report which we come across at different point of time during our research process. Now moving to the APA guidelines here, as far as I come to know, that I think majority belongs to social science discipline, and most of the social science disciplines we are following APA as one of the guidelines for writing the report. So hence, most of the points I have taken from American Psychological Association's publication manual 7th edition, latest edition. But along with that, then I can say that I think most of the writing requirements, guidelines are common for other styles also. The specific difference will be with respect to citation and reference, that we have to explore further. Due to the time limitations, I have to stick to only one style currently. So starting with that thing, a dissertation related report elements. So when you are writing a PhD or MPhil level research report, thesis, what all things should be there as a content and what should be the order of that document. It's starting with the title page, which includes the title of the paper, the researcher's name, registration ID, then guide's name and the designation, followed by the department, university logo, institute, like that. Then followed that certificate, declaration, and acknowledgement page. For that, the respective university or organization will be providing the format. You have to follow that. After that, you need to give the abstract of your entire study within the limited word count. Normally, it is saying that I think 250 to 350 as a word count for abstract with 5 to 8 keywords. And this abstract should give a clear idea about your research, entire research project. So anyone who is taking your report should be able to understand what you have done within one by reading one paragraph. So 250 to 350 words is a normal word count. Again, you have to check with the respective university guidelines for that thing. Then followed by table of contents in one page. What are the contents you have included in the table? It's starting with all these elements. And then list of tables. All the tables you have given in your report should be listed in the list of tables. Similarly, figures that you have used, a separate list should be there. Followed by abbreviations, list of abbreviations that you have used in the work. The list of abbreviation, list of tables and list of figures you can follow with the order that you have given in your document. But list of abbreviations should be based on the alphabetical order. Then this still title page to abbreviations, this is known as a preliminary section of the dissertation writing document, followed by the main body of knowledge, which include the chapterization, starting with the introduction, then followed by review of literature, methods, results, discussion, summary, and conclusion. Normally, universities will be having 5 or 6 chapters with this contents. Sometimes results and discussion will be together in some university. Summary and conclusion will be separate. Sometimes results will be separate, then discussion will be separate, summary and conclusion will be separate, like that. So you have to check your university requirements and write your chapterization. Then after that, the last section will be references and appendices. Appendices should be included all relevant supporting evidence of your document, which is starting with the tools that you have used, the permission letters of tools that you are using, and any other kind of ethical documents you have to provide. All those things needs to be attached as an appendix. Then the same thing, if you're going to publish as a manuscript, what is the content and what could be the order? So here again, title page is there, blind manuscript is there, and supplemental material is there. The major difference between the dissertation related research report to the article, the paper length itself. First one will be having more than 100 pages minimum, and while your paper will be having 10 to 15 pages maximum, or word count like 5,000 or 7,000, depending upon the journal specifications. Second difference is that in the first one, there is a chapterization, specific chapter 1, introduction, chapter 2, review of literature, like that. But in your manuscript, you will not be having chapterization. There will be one session which is starting with the blind manuscript. So that is a major difference between these two sections of reporting. And in the article or paper, there will be one title page. In that title page, you have to include the title of article, author names, byline, which is known as byline, author affiliations, author note if the journal is asking. That means a small bio note, one paragraph bio about the author or all the authors. Then other statements of disclosure. Yesterday I have mentioned that in certain disclosure we have to give when we are submitting the paper as part of the ethics. Disclosure of conflict of interest, consent, all those things. So, and even we have to give the disclosure right now based on the usage of AI tools. So as an author, I have to declare that thing. There is no conflict of interest in this thing. There is, I have used AI tool, so and so AI tool for this purpose in my study. Like that, I have to give maximum declarations to the journal and audience. With that, the title page will get over. And all the journals will be having a clear, specific format of statement of disclosures that they preferred. You have to refer those website and get that statement and replace with your information. That's all. Then followed by the main section, blind manuscript, which is known as the body of knowledge, which include a title and a running head. You have to give your title again and followed by a small heading, which is known as running head, that the journal will be using as a header in every page of your paper after publishing. Followed by abstract with keywords. Journals are preferring structured abstract or unstructured abstract. Structured abstract means you will be having separate sections for background, methods, results, and conclusion with the keywords. Unstructured abstract, these sections won't be there. You are writing or you are in their abstract with a paragraph mode. No matter whatever way you're following, there should be a limit for the abstract. That again decides by the journal. You have to check the journal guidelines to know what is the limit, word limit for the abstract and how many keywords I can give it. And choose your keywords wisely. That leads the other people, audience, to identify your article easily. So you have to give the most important and evident keywords related to your topic along with the abstract. After that, introduction will be there, methods will be there, discussion and conclusion. Results and discussion, conclusion. These are the main text or body of knowledge, followed by reference list, footnotes, appendices, and the last section will be supplementary materials. That means if you have a large way of or large set of analysis and no need to present all the analysis, preliminary analysis in your study. In that case, you can give your preliminary analysis in a supplementary material that will be attached as a separate document while publishing the article. And you can limit your major findings in the findings and the corresponding results and interpretation in your actual manuscript. So this is the rough structure or broad structure of paper or manuscript, and there will be slight variations with the journal, from journal to journal. You have to check that thing and write according to the specification. Now we are moving to the section or topic of formatting your paper. So what are things you need to keep in your mind while you are formatting your paper? Here I'm not going to talk with respect to language or anything. The exact requirements, what are the things we need to follow while writing it. This starting with the order of pages, this I have already spoken in the previous slides. Every page, every document, research report or paper will be having a particular order. You have to follow that order. Mainly title page, body of knowledge, supplemental materials. Within that, again, you have to follow a logical order. Then page header, your paper's page number should be given on the top right side, and a running head is required to give it on the top left side. Sometimes journals will ask you to give the page number only and running head as a separate document. You can give that statement and they will add while doing the typesetting of the article after acceptance. In research report also you need to, that means when you are going to submit your thesis to your university, there also you need to follow a page number and running head system. And as per APA, this is page number is following top right side and running head is a top left side. But university, from university to university or organization to organization, there will be a difference. There may be a differences. So you have to check with your organization to know where and how I should put the page number and running head. Irrespective of the place, these two components are mandatory in your report. And always use same font throughout your text. Do not change the font type. If you're following Times New Roman, follow that and use the same font size. As exception for the font size will be in the cover page, especially with respect to title and name of the researcher. Somewhere it will be difference will be there that you can follow according to the university regulations. And later, font can be less than 12 inside the tables. I'm talking about large and big table. If the table is very big, then you can take a call to reduce the font size for that specific table. So this is the exception for changing the font size in your report. Then if you're using any kind of special characters, which is including any symbols or mathematical equations, for example, in your methodology section, you want to show that thing you are using a particular sample size determination formula. In that case, do not go for typing the formula in Word document by your own way. You have to use the special character functions in the word processing program, or if in case that particular formula or equation or symbol is not available in the word processing program, then you can depend on some plugins. For example, MathType is a plugin which you can use for finding out the special characters. But do not go for typing it. It will lead to unnecessary spacing issue and problems in your report. Followed that spacing issue, you have to look at the spacing requirements. Normally, majority of the universities and APA as per APA guidelines, line spacing is required is double spacing. There are some expression for double spacing in APA guidelines also. In title page, extra along with the double space after each section, from title to author information to guide information, you can have additional one more in the space. That is a one exception. Then again, in the table or figure or footnotes, in this case, all these cases, you can have line spacing less than double. You can have double space also, fine, no issue if the table is smaller. But if the table is bigger, it is possible to go with the single space or 1.5 spaced line spacing. Then if you're displaying any particular equations, you can increase the double spacing more than the double spacing options. And nowhere you need to give an extra spacing before and after headings, or do not give extra space between the paragraphs also. For that, you have to align your paragraph spacing in a proper way. Followed by margins. Always follow all the four sides with the 1 inch, that means 2.54 centimeter in word processing for manuscript preparation. But if it is for a dissertation or thesis where you need to go for binding, you have to give left side 1.5 inch. 0.5 inch additionally you have to give, because while binding there's a chance of cutting the edges, and if you're keeping only 1 inch, possibility of getting cut the information that you are giving in the document. Then alignment as per APA, left alignment, that means the right side will be uneven in the form. And this particular thing, some university may change to central alignment, then, or that means justification. In that case, you can go ahead with that thing. Paragraph indentation is another aspect which you need to follow. For starting of every paragraph, first line should be indented with a 0.5 inch. And for that, do not use the space button in your Word system. You have to use the tab key, which is automatically measured or set with the 0.5 inch unit. If some system may have 0.25 inch, in that case, you have to use the double key. Double press on the tab key for getting the 0.5 inch. So this is the mandatory requirement for most of the research report, either in universities or in colleges or in publication slide. Then paper length, that is completely depends upon to whom you are submitting, where you are going to submit it. Every university and organization will be having a required length. You have to check that thing, what could be the maximum page number or minimum page number required. When it's related to your publication, paper writing, check with the respective journal and then limit to their word count. That is normally quantitative studies following some journals are starting with the 3,000. Some are following 4,000 word counts. Some are 6,000. Some may go with the 9,000. That is normally with the qualitative research report. So you have to check guidelines of the journal and then write your paper. And as a rule of thumb, as much as possible, go with the less information, less explanation in your paper. That means less is more. Less can be communicate more effective information. If you are simply writing too much, it will be confusing for the readers. Followed by formatting, you need to think about or you need to keep in mind about organization of the document. For that, you will be having multiple heading in your document, starting with the chapter heading, then followed by next level of heading, and then subheadings will be there. Under that, again, subheading will be there. So different levels of headings will be there in your document, irrespective of paper or thesis. In that case, you have to literally follow a particular way of keeping your headings in a uniform style. So as per APA 7, this is the guidelines for APA levels of heading, which you can follow in any research report. The level 1 heading, usually it's happening with the title or chapter title or section title. In that case, this particular level 1 heading should be central aligned. That means centered, bold, and title case heading. Title case heading means every word's first letter should be in capital form. If there is a connecting word in that heading, that connecting words no need to be in capitalization. For example, if you're looking at the format for the 5 levels of heading in APA style, if this is your level 1 heading, this is a clear example of title case heading. This also a title case levels of heading, also a title example for title case heading, where levels L starts with the L is the capitalized, and then in the second word, main word, heading S also capitalized. But the connecting word is there, and that connecting word is no need to have a capitalization. So this is the title case heading. If you're following a non-title case heading or sentence case heading, first letter of the first word will be capitalization. So in APA style of writing, levels of heading, first level, you have to follow centered, bold, and title case heading. And then you can begin your text in the next line with a paragraph indent. 0.5 inch paragraph indent, you can begin a new paragraph. Then suppose you have a second level of heading, that should be flush left. That means it should be started in the left side margin, which is again bold and title case heading. So the difference from level 1 to level heading is that first one is center aligned and second level will be left aligned. I think it's clear to you. And then third level, suppose you have a subheading under the level 2, then that will be again starting at the left side of the paper. It should be bold and it should be title case heading, but you have to give italic option also. That means from level 2 heading to level 3 heading, you are adding one extra feature, that is italics option. So that is the difference between second and third level of heading. Followed by fourth level of heading, if in case you have, then you have to indent. As you are indenting the paragraph, you have to indent the head also, heading also. Indented, then it should be bold, title case heading, and that heading should end with a period. Period means full stop. And then you have to continue your text next to that period with a space. So this is the way you have to formulate your level 4 heading. So till level 3, level 2 and level 3 heading and level 1 heading also, the paragraph will be starting in the next line. But in 4th and 5th levels of heading, paragraph will be begin immediately after one space after the period along with the heading. And both should be indented. Here, level 4 to level 5, one more difference is there. This is not, entire section is not in italics, But here the heading section is in italics. You have to add the italic option. And this is the general guide. If in case you are having more than 5 levels of heading, then you can bring your own style of giving heading. You can give underline or you can avoid bold option, anything you can prefer, but that should be a uniform style throughout your report. And there will be some kind of exception for section labels like author note, abstract, title, reference, footnotes, appendix. Those kind of sections in your paper should be placed on a new page and which should be centrally aligned. So these are the general guidelines given for organizing your document based on different levels of heading. So now we are moving to another set of instructions or set of requirements for writing the research report. When we are writing the research report, either it's for a university or for an, especially for a publication, they will ask which kind of reporting standards or which reporting standards you are following in your paper, or journals will ask you to follow a particular style of reporting standards, which include American Psychological Association's journal article reporting standards, which is abbreviated as JARS. So in that publication manual, they have given specific standards, reporting standards for manuscript writing, which is known as JARS, and that is exclusively given for quantitative research paper, qualitative research paper, and mixed method research paper. These kind of researching reporting and standards will offer guidelines for authors to write their paper in a better and clear manner with a transparent mode, and it helps the readers to understand the research in a better way. It helps or it assists reviewers in evaluation process of the manuscript. It aids future researchers in replication of the same thing. It promotes reporting transparency, like that. So this is the purpose of following a article reporting standards while we are going for the publications. So I have mentioned the journal article reporting standards. I'm not going in detail. You have to refer the manual and get into that particular instructions. This will be a 22 or 32 or 30, more than that checklist. You have to follow every checklist from the beginning to end while writing it. And in addition to journal article reporting standards provided by APA guidelines, additional reporting standards are also followed by different journals. And most of the journals are following CONSORT as a reporting standards for randomized trial-based studies, and STROP as a reporting standards for observational studies, PRISMA as a metaphor, or PRISMA as a reporting standards for systematic review paper. Then STARD is mainly using for diagnostic accuracy studies or diagnostic studies. Then for qualitative research papers, you have to follow either CURECU or SRQR reporting standards. So now the author's responsibility is to find out what is the particular reporting standard is followed by the respective journal. According to that, you have to find out the checklist for the respective standard reporting standards and convert or connect your paper with respect to that checklist. Then you can submit your paper along with the checklist to the journals, and they will accept, they will review, and they will accept the paper. So this is the mandatory requirement which is followed by most of the journals while publication. When I'm talking about the most of the journals, which is indexed in Scopus, Web of Science, IEEE, or any specific indexed journals, and good peer-reviewed journals are following this kind of reporting standards. Now moving to writing your content, what all things you need to look into, especially related to writing style and grammar for effective and scholarly writing. First of all, you need to have a continuous continuity in your data, continuity in your presentation writing part. There should be a flow from one paragraph to next paragraph, one chapter to next chapter, one section to next section. And this flow should be having a smooth transition also. So if you are failed to show that logical order or continuity and flow from one session to another session, flow from one paragraph to another paragraph, then it is very difficult for the readers or reviewers to understand your findings. Then always be concise and clear. Do not use any unambiguous word. Do not use any words which shows you are not confident enough. Always be very concise, be very concise manner of writing. That is help you to avoid unnecessary explanations and length of the paper. And another important point is that you have to avoid wordiness. Wordiness means, I have given an example here. You can use the word now instead of at the present time. So when we are usually saying orally, or when we are colloquially using, we may use at the present time. Currently, we are looking all at the current time. All those words which are many words or phrases to express something. Instead of that, find out the apt word which can be reduce the unnecessary words. For example, now can be used instead of at the present time. Similar way, you have to avoid the word redundancy. That means very complicated word or confused words. For example, if in case you want to write where exactly the same as, instead of that, you can use more scientific language as positioned very close. In your sentence, you can bring those kind of terminology to showcase that you are using scientific language in your writing. Then keep sentence and paragraph lengths short for effective communication. Do not go for a very lengthy paragraph or very lengthy paper. Keep as much as short. That is always good. Maintain appropriate professional tone of your language. Then do not try to interest anything very strongly or not. You have to use a very professional tone which will be convincing to everyone. Then try to avoid maximum contradictions and contractions or colloquial words in your report. If you are going to publish a scientific article, you can definitely use the jargon, some jargons, but limit the use of jargons. Jargons is scientific terms, very specific scientific terms. But if in case you are using it, you have to give the explanation for that also. Then ensure always logical comparison. Avoid anthropomorphism, which is known as a phenomena or a style of writing where we are using the certain words which is normally using to denote the human characters, and using that we are trying to denote the animals. In those kind of words we have to, this is known as anthropomorphism, which we need to avoid. For example, couples is a word normally we are using along with the human beings. Married couple or romantic couple, all this is we are using quite okay for that thing. But if in case if you are going with an experiment with the rats, in that case we can't use rat couples. So the couples is a term which is denoting to specify the characters of the human being, which we cannot use for any animals. So those kind of, instead of that, if you're going with the rat as an experimental animal in your study, then you can use the word pairs of rats. So you have to find out the appropriate word which we can represent those animal characters. So this is a one important aspect we need to look in. Those who are dealing with the any kind of studies which related to which not related to human beings, you need to be very careful with this thing. Then avoid wrong phrases. That means, for example, always we use or used to write the theory concludes. We are not the person to conclude a theory. Theory is established by the so-called theorist, and we are not the person to conclude that thing. Instead of that, if you are taking a one particular theory and writing in our research study, we have to write the theory addresses. So the word concludes normally used by the author of that particular or developer of that theory. So when we are using it, we should be able to use different words where it indicate that we are adopting the theory and explaining our research study. And always be very careful to careful with your grammar and spelling with the complete report. Now, when I'm talking with respect to language, another important area is to reduce biases, certain kinds of biases by language, and reduce biases by topic. So when we are writing, there will be some kind of biases may happen. It is not a purposeful thing happen in the research writing. It is not a mistake. It is not a and major issue also, but as much as possible we have to avoid certain kinds of biases based on the language, use of language, and based on the use of topic also. I will go through each one in detail. Reducing bias by language, under that there are two main points. First one is describe at the appropriate level of specificity, and second one is be sensitive to every labels that you're using in the research report. That means you have to give due respect to the people's preference. This I will explain in the coming slides. And the major points related to reducing bias by topic are age, disability, gender, participation in research, racial and ethnic identity, sexual orientation, socioeconomic status, intersectionality, and some terms which we need to completely avoid from the research. So we are going to the first one, the reduce language by reduce bias by language. In that, first one is level of specificity. So here in this table, I have given three sections. First one is criteria, and second one is the preferred term or accepted term, and the third section will be the terms which is not preferred or accepted in the publication. For example, level of specificity indicating that thing, we have to give maximum specificity in our writing. So if you're going with the women, the word women and men is preferred over man. The word man is a common. We are using the word man to represent the human being. It is not clear whether if you're using the word man in our study, are we using only men or women or both men and women. So give it very specifically women and men to describe your sample size. Second example, when you are writing the age of the participants, you need to be very specific again. Over 65 years, it's a very broad term. Above 65, anyone can be happen. So you have to if there is a possibility, try to give a specific age range maximum. That is not a 65 to 85 years or 65 to 80 years, or children who are aged between 2 to 10 years. You have to be very specific with respect to describing your samples. Then you need to be very sensitive to certain labels that we will discuss in each sections based on the topic again. For example, sensitive means there are, if in case we are conducting a study with respect to gay men. So in colloquial ways, we use the term gays. So in the research academic report, we can't use the words gays. Instead of that, we have to give the respect to that community and use the word gay men. Similarly, elderly, seniors, aged, all those words are not showing any kind of respect to that group of people. Instead of that, in research paper, you have to bring the term older adults or the people who are aged above 65 years, 60 years, like that. You have to be very specific and you have to give the respect to the community also. And the age, the next point is with respect to age. I have given a number of words which we can use and the words which we cannot use as per APA guidelines in 2020. So these slides, the coming slides, you can just go through in detail. I have already shared the slides with the organizing committee. They will share it with you. You can read and understand that thing. But one thing you need to keep in your mind, that thing, this specification criteria have been given in 2020 in APA guidelines. So over the time, there may be a chance to add new terms or change the existing terms or remove the existing terms also. So always, if you're going to conduct a research study with a particular group of people, you need to be very careful about what is the prescribed or accepted or preferred terms to denote that particular community, and find out that thing with respect to based from the respective authority or association or the published informations, and then use that thing. So as much as possible, you have to avoid the biases that happens due to the topic. Disability, for example, any kind of disabled group, if you are going with, for example, person with the paraplegia is a term that is preferred instead of paraplegic. So normally we are using the word autism. You all familiar with the term autism? Is a developmental disorder. So if in case if we are going with the study with the children who are having autism as a disorder, then normal way we are using the term autistic. So that term is very inappropriate. And instead of that, we have to use autistic person or autistic children. So we have to go with either people first name or identity first name order. And again, if you are conducting a study in a clinical settings, instead of sample research participants, you can use the word patients and clients. So these are the different terminology you need to be very carefully use in your research study. With respect to gender, again, there are set of preferred terms and not preferred terms. So I will give one example. The second row, you can see that thing, another sex, another gender, other gender. All those terms are accepted by the research community. But opposite sex, opposite gender, these are the terms which is outdated. And we are not supposed to use it. Again, transgender, the term is outdated. Transsexual, the term is outdated. Instead of that, the broader umbrella term is transgender and gender non-conforming people, TGNC people, in an abbreviated form, or gender queer, gender non-binary, gender creative, agender. These are the terms which we can use and show our respect to those community. And these are the terms which is preferred by that community also. Like that, a number of examples are there. For example, if you're using the word policeman, if you're going to conduct a study among police people, and you are using the word policeman to denote that group, we are not sure in that police, the samples, whether men and women officers are included or not. The policeman is a term, colloquial term. Instead of that, if you're using that same thing in your research, you have to use police officers. That is a gender-free terminology, which defines or which includes either men or women or any other gender. Whoever is the officer, we are giving the respect to that particular position. Avoiding the gender specifications. So these are some examples with respect to gender. Similar way, there are explanations or there are words with respect to participation in research, racial and ethnic identity, then sexual orientation, socioeconomic status, then followed by intersectionality. So till here, you can just read and understand. I have given maximum options in my slides, which will help you to figure out the right word which you can use in your research study. Due to the lack of time, I'm just skipping the slides right now and moving to the next one, which is intersectionality. That is an important concept in the research. That means in our research, we will be having different criteria to describe our samples. For example, gender will be there and marital status will be there. So you have to give the clear number. How many are there in married men group? How many are there in married women group? How many are there in unmarried men and how many are there in unmarried women group? So you are giving the two criteria and combining them and giving the very specific number. How many or what is the frequency of each group of people with respect to two criteria, gender and marital status. So the preferred way of writing that thing is that 30 participants were married women, 25 participants were unmarried women, 15 were married men, 20 were unmarried men. So this is just a sample only. Like that, you have to bring the intersectionality framework in your writing style. So this column, 35 married participants, which is very broader one, we don't know in the 35 married people how many male and female are there. So this is the unclear information also. So as much as possible, go with the specific explanation for each category, and in that bring the intersectionality framework that examines how different aspects of identity and social systems intersect in your research. And then in your research, you should be avoid certain terms like the name of the researcher or co-researcher, the word I, we, first person pronoun, all those things we need to be avoid. Instead of that, you can use the word researcher, investigator, co-investigator, student or scholar or author, depending upon your role. Then again, in your research, you have to avoid some words which shows that you are not confident with respect to your matter. That means so and so. I'm basically speaking, or basically I'm thinking like, frankly speaking, those kind of words are showing that thing you are not sure about your content. So avoid such words which indicate the unclarity, the unambiguous nature, or which shows the lack of confidence in your matter. Avoid, please. Now, moving to the next one, mechanics of style. This one deals with a number of rules and regulations with respect to use of punctuation marks in our document, which includes periods, comma, colon, semicolon, dash, quotation marks. Again, I'm not going in detail what are the rules. It will take a good amount of time to explain it, but all those informations are there listed in the same publication manual as a chapter. So the first and important thing in this one, after every punctuation marks, you have to give a space. And before the punctuation mark, there's no need of giving a space also. This is one of the most important rule you need to follow while you are writing it. Again, spelling, you need to follow a particular way of style of spelling. For example, if you are writing, if you are doing your PhD in an Indian university, then definitely we have to follow the language which is followed by India. That means British English or Indian English. In your system, you have to select that thing. But at the same time, if you are doing it outside India, and you have to check the university what language they are preferring, whether they are preferring American English or British English or Canadian English. Same rule is applicable when you're writing the manuscript also. Check the manuscript guidelines and find out what spelling they are preferring. According to that, you have to set your laptop system spelling preference and then correct your spellings. And do not go for a mixed spelling, that means using both British English and American English. This is quite often happen when we are writing without knowingly. So we need to be very careful and set your laptop before starting any writing with the accurate language style which is required to be followed. Then use of capitalization, italic, all those things you need to be very careful. Where to use capitalization, where to use italics, where not to use capitalization, all those things are important aspect. Again, abbreviations, numbers, statistical and mathematical copy, presentation of equations, all those things are having a certain guidelines to be followed. Abbreviations, you can use the abbreviations, non-abbreviations without any issues. But if it is a unknown abbreviation, that means you are giving an abbreviations, then you have to follow certain rules, that thing. And where you can use the abbreviations, where not to use the abbreviations, all those are important. And if you're using the abbreviations, all the abbreviations in your research report should be listed in the beginning of the document, that means before the body of knowledge, as a list of abbreviations, which is again organized in the alphabetical order. And this will help the readers to understand all the aspects here that you are presenting. Followed by, you need to be careful with the mechanics of style. Here it is including where to use the numbering option or bulleting options. So you need to have seriations or giving list in your paper. It is perfectly fine. We can go with the bulleting option or numbered list, fine. Or you can bring the number system or lettered series system in the paragraph. All those things are fine. But the basic guideline is that if you're writing a particular sentence or paragraph, in that if you have more than two component, look at the first example I have given. If you have more than two component in a sentence, you need to give comma until the last second last component, and then give the and word and then the last component. Here in this thing, participants were similar in age, gender, and ethnicity. There are three main components in this thing. First component followed by a comma, age, comma, gender, comma, followed by and in word, and then the last component. This is the way you have to write, use the comma in to separate the components in a sentence. And imagine that if you have multiple components, then you need to bring comma as well as semicolon to segregate your idea very clearly to the readers. Lettered list normally using along with the paragraph or sentence. That means in a sentence or in a paragraph, if you want to bring certain elements, then you can bring the lettered elements. In that case, as per APA guidelines, you need to follow small letters which is enclosed in parenthesis. Parenthesis means bracket only. We are normally using the word bracket to denote this one, but this is known as parenthesis. This bracket is known as parenthesis. You have to put the small letters in parenthesis and then give comma to use the comma to separate the elements till the last element. So this is the way you can use the lettered list in your writing. You can't use just one side bracket or one side parenthesis. You can't use it. You have to use both side parenthesis. That means the letter should be enclosed, and you can use the capital letter also here. So these are the certain rules to be followed when you are using the lettered list in your content. Then another style of list are numbered list or bulleted list, which you can use it to show the content or element in a paragraph in a very prominent way. That means you can, along with the paragraph or sentence, immediately after that, you can have the next line starting with the numbered list or bullet list. This indicates more effective presentations in some cases. And numbered list is for complete sentences, normally using the numbered list for complete sentences, and bulleted list for short phrases. Again, one more guideline for to select whether I should go with the numbered list or bulleted list, using based on the order of the content. If your elements or components are having a particular order, or if it is showing a sequential progress, then you have to go with the numbered. Numbers will show the order of that content. If there is no order, then you can go with the bulleted list. Then use Arabic. If you're using the numbered list, always start with the Arabic numerals followed by a period. And then if below that again subpoints are there, then you can go with the other numbering system. Then there are a number of other rules related to this thing. So please always check with the respective manuals, whether you are following the university manuals or any particular publication manual. Follow that thing and find out what is the preference of that journal or authority with respect to the mechanics of style. Are you permitted to go with the lettered list, numbered list, or bulleted list? And if yes, what is the rules given by them? And then follow that thing. So this is a one example only, and you need to be very diligent to use what is required in your study. And moving to the presentation of tables and figures in your study. So here you can see a number of guidelines, number of components with respect to tables actually. So here every table should be, whether the table is created by you or it is taken by someone else table, someone else document, you have to follow certain guidelines to develop the table. First of all, a table should have a number, and the table number should appear above the table, and it should be in bold option. So I will show the sample here. You can see the table number here, which is placed above the table and bold in option. Then next one is title. So title should be placed just below the table number with a double spaced option, and that should be italics and no need to be bold also. So here you can see that thing which is placed immediately after the table number with the italics mode and not use the bold option. Then the next set of components in a table is headings. Different types of headings are allowed in a table, which is known as column heading, stub heading, column spanners, and duct headings. Sorry, decked headings. I will show you the examples here. So this is known as stub heading. Stub heading, the word is commonly used to denote the heading that we are using the leftmost top column. And then this is known as the decked heads. That means instead of one level of heading, I have two levels of heading. Girls are there, boys are there. Then with and without under each section. So I have to give specific headings, two levels of heading, which is known as decked heads. And this again, this two girls and boys, this is known as the column spanner. And this section here in this table, if you're looking at, you can see two sections actually, wave 1 data and wave 2 data. Imagine that you have collected this data from phase 1 and this is a phase 2 data. So you can keep the same data, same informations with respect to girls and boys with and without of parental citizenship. You can keep in two sections actually. Here, the data from the first phase or which is known as wave 1, this particular heading is known as table spanner. Then this is known as column heading again. This one, this with and without, this column heading is exclusively meant for this particular column, and this is meant for this column, like that. Then each section is known as, this one row versus column is known as the cells which is having the values or content. Then the table body is there. These are the main parts of a table with respect to table headings, different types of table headings, and contents. After that, the last section will be a table note section, which you have to give for explaining certain components which you are giving in the table that requires more explanations. So some examples I will give here. You can give a note for a particular information that you need to add to the table informations. For example, you can write note in italics, then give periods. After a space, you have to write the details. Factor loading greater than 0.45 shown in bold. So in my table, I have given bold option to show the items whichever having a factor loading above 0.45 value. So all those things I have highlighted with the bold option, so that I can give the special notes under my table. That's a one example. Again, I can give the lettered as a superscript option in the table, A, B, like that, and which will give the expression. Some, for example, imagine that thing here along with the wave girls, along with the girls, I have given A as a superscript option, and then the explanation for A is that the total number of sample in that particular group is this much. I can give that as an example. Here, A means N is equal to 25, B means N is 30. So that means we are not giving the number of samples inside the table, which will help us to reduce the number of table rows or columns. And instead of that, we are giving that in a separate table notes. Then again, if significance value, previous days, Dr. Ampadi has discussed about the different statistical results which we are obtaining from the inferential statistics. In that, we are usually getting the p-value and significance value. So some journals will not be preferred to give the p-value as it is. In that case, you can give the asterisk mark along with the respective statistical values, and then this asterisk mark indicating the respective significance level. In scientific articles, scientific publications, one asterisk mark is denoted p-values at 0.05, less than 0.05. Then double asterisk is indicating p-value is less than 0.01, and triple asterisk is indicating p-value is less than 0.001. So this is the accepted way of denoting your p-values in the table. So if you're using this particular method, you'll be able to avoid one row, one column, which exclusively mentioning the exact p-values. These are the options only you can follow. Anything, any explanations, whatever you need to incorporate in your table as an extra information or an explanation, you can add as a table note. So this is the sample figure, and with the instructions, I will show some figures which is given in the book. This is one example of table formatting with the table number followed by a table heading. Then this is the table head, table title. Then table headings are here, and then the contents, criterias, values, and then a table note. As per API guidelines, we can't use the cross lines. We have to use the very minimal horizontal lines only possible. So here again, you can see that I think the heading, all the headings are centralized, central aligned. The qualitative values or criteria is given in the central align, left aligned mode, and all the values are aligned with the central justified mode or centralized. It is centralized. So these are the basic things you need to keep in your mind while developing your or creating your table with respect to your data. So these are some examples I have given. You can just go through later in the slide. All those things are available in the publication manual also. So now moving to the components of figures. Here it is talking about, as similar to table, what are the main components required in figures. So as similar, number is there, table figure number is there, figure title is required, image or figure, then legend if it is required, not again. So not is already explained. As similar way, the same rules are applicable here also. And in addition to the previous rules I have mentioned, if you're taking an image from a different source which you are not, somebody else is created, in that case you have to give the citation also, or you have to mention from which source you have adopted that particular image. So that means you are giving your you are giving the credits to the authors of that particular image. That again helps you to come out from the plagiarism. So that is a one additional point which you can include in the figure note if you are taking a figure from any other source. Then figure number, as usual, it should be placed above the figure, which should be written figure 1 and placed above the figure, and it should be in bold option, similar to the table number. Similar to table title, title of the figure also should appear one double space line below the figure number, and it should be in italic title case, which no need to keep in the bold option. So rest all is common only. And in table, additional element, in figure, additional element is legend. So if you're creating a graphical representation, you have to give the appropriate legends. That means blue color bar is indicating male population. Orange color bar is indicating female population. Like that, you have to give the legends to explain the colors and other indicators used in the image. So whichever is appropriate form, you have to use that thing. I'll show some examples here. This is the sample format given in the book: figure number, figure title, then the figure, and the figure note. And if it is a graph, you can definitely bring the axis title and other. This is known as the legend. The light colored, ash colored lines is indicating Friday's data, and this dark black color is indicating the Monday's data. So this is the known as the legend or key in the image. You have to bring that using the word processing system options. These are the some examples of figures which we can follow. And as much as possible, your figure should be self-explanatory. That means anyone who is looking at the figure or table should be able to understand the content that you have intended to present. So these are the complicated figures. So this is one example which I have mentioned that thing. If this image I have it's taken from another source. So I have to give as a note that thing. Note the US percentage does not include data for the Puerto Rico, which is adapted from 2017 poverty rate in the United States by US Census Bureau 2017, then followed by the link. So this information from where this image is adapted, that I need to give as a table note. This helps the author to come out from the plagiarism of this particular image when you are using it in your study. Any image from Google or any places, if it is a copyrighted, if it is used by or developed by someone else, then you need to give the right source as a source of adaptation. Now, moving to the next set of topic, that is plagiarism and need for crediting sources. This yesterday we have discussed as part of ethical guidelines. So here I'm just repeating the concept plagiarism. Plagiarism is presenting someone else's work as your own and denying creators the credit they deserve. And self-plagiarism is a phenomena or the process where it's a presentation of the author's his or her own previously published work as an original. Like plagiarism, self-plagiarism is also an unethical aspect. Now, what are the means to get out from the or come out from the plagiarism from your document? The first thing is that quoting, use the quotation and paraphrase your content. Second one is use the citation in the text. Third one is give the complete reference list at the end of the document. We will discuss all those things in detail. So paraphrasing means you are taking ideas from another source. It can be one source or more than one source. Take the idea and then you rewrite that idea into your own words. So that means you are paraphrasing someone else's idea and writing in your document. Followed by paraphrasing a content, you need to give in-text citation, and same thing should be reflected in the reference list also. And when you are citing this thing, you can use either parenthetical citation or narrative citation, which I will explain in the coming slide. What is meant by parenthetical citation and narrative citations. So second method to come out from the second method to come out from the plagiarism is using quotations in your document. Here, quotation means a direct quotations reproduces words verbatim from another work or from your own previously published work. So that means instead of I am referring another person or a previously published document, and I am taking that exact sentence. For example, I have to take a definition. In that case, I cannot change the sentence. I cannot paraphrase it. So I have to take the exact words of that particular definition from another source. In that case, I have to use the quotation quotation followed by citations and reference, which will help you to come out from the plagiarism options. Now, there are two methods of giving quotations. First one is short quotation. That means the length of the quotation, that means the number of words in a quotation will be less than 40. In that case, that is known as short quotation. And second one is block quotation, where the word limit is beyond 40 words. That means the quotation is quite larger than the first one. So we will discuss the first one. If you have a short quotation, you can incorporate that statement as it is along with your paragraph or sentence as a continuation, which should be enclosed in the double quotation mark. Then there is a separate guidelines. If you are following, if you are writing that quotation at the end of the paragraph or mid of the sentence, for both, the quotation mark is mandatory, but placing the punctuation mark immediately after that will be having slight difference that you have to explore further. For example, if a quote appears mid-sentence, use the quotation marks, cite the source in parenthesis right after the quotation marks close, and then continue without additional punctuation mark unless it is necessary. But if you are using the short quotation or giving the short quotation at the end of a sentence, then use quotation marks, cite the source in parenthesis immediately after the quotation mark, and place the punctuation mark outside the parenthesis. That means after punctuation, you have to give the after citation, you have to give the punctuation marks. So this is the general guidelines for denoting or using short quotation in your study. If it is a block quotation, you no need to give it in the double quotation, enclosed in the double quotation option. Instead of that, you have to write that entire sentences, entire quotation in a separate paragraph, which will be completely, not the first line of that paragraph, entire paragraph will be indented 0.5 inch additionally from the left side. And then you have to use the double space for the entire quotations. So this, and then followed by, you can give the citation details also. This is the two options. You can go with the short quotation and block quotations, where quotations are having less than 40 words or more than 40 words. And quite confusing right now. The best option for you to follow is that keep these guidelines along with you from the manual, and then write it and cross check it, and use the specific, each one you have to give the specific care to give the quotation marks, or how to place it, how to give the citation, all those things. Quite confusing thing, but you need to practice. Until unless you're practicing or you're not starting with this thing, it is not possible to by heart all those things by anyone. So only practice makes you to write a error-free and systematic document. Now moving to the citations. So we are moving to the third option of get out from the plagiarism, which is known as citations. Again, a number of general guidelines are given for the citations by APA, and a number of guidelines are given for referencing system also. Along with that, I need to tell you that till now what we have discussed more or less same with all the universities or institutions. Some deviations will be there with respect to the rules and regulations, but the general guidelines, general points that we have discussed so far with respect to mechanics of style, formatting, organization, use of quotation, all those things are more or less same. But from here, citation and reference, each style of writing, or that means each professional association is giving their respective rules and regulations. If you are going to publish, or if you are going to write a report to your organization or a journal who is following APA style of writing, there is a set of rules and regulations, which we will discuss in the coming slides. In addition to that APA, there are a number of other style of writing which can be followed for referencing and citation, including Vancouver style, Harvard style, MLA style, Chicago style, IEEE style, like that. So many are there. So now the author's responsibility is that you have to find out which style of writing, that means exclusively for citation and references, which style the respective journal or institution is following. And don't think that, I think, being in the social science field, always we are going with the APA style of writing. There are sometimes we may have to submit our paper to a journal which is broadly explain or publish articles in the medical field. Then we have to go with the American Medical Association's style of writing, or Vancouver style of citation and referencing. So, or if you're going with the journal which is followed the British Sociological Association, then we have to follow that thing. Like that, everyone's having a separate set of citation and referencing rule. Understand that thing, and please keep in your mind, depending upon where you are going to submit your paper, you need to choose the right style of writing and adapt to that. Now, being social science is a predominant discipline for the participant in this field, I'm going to explain a few aspects of citation and referencing based on APA guidelines. That means, which is given in the 7th publication manual published in 2020. One more thing I want to tell you this thing. Until the next edition of publication manuals from the side of APS coming out, we can follow this thing. The moment they are coming up with 8th style of publication manual, then we have to switch to or adapt to the new style. So with that note, I'm starting with the citation general guidelines. In every citations, you have to give appropriate level of citations. Then that means cite the correct work, cite correct source that you are referring. Always give the preference for the primary source rather than the secondary sources. Then there should be a correspondence between the reference list and in-text citations. Here I have used the word text only, not text, is in-text citations. That means all the in-text citations in your report should be reflected in the reference section, and all the reference entry should be mentioned at least once in your document with a citation option. So this is the correspondence between the reference list and in-text citations. And in APA, we are using author date citation system. That means citations is following a rule which is surname of author, comma, by the year of publications. If you are following Vancouver style, it is a numbered citation system, which is in a different manner. Then use of the published or archival version. You have to clearly select what is the latest source of information for that particular document. If any archival version is there, whether you need to go with that or a latest published version. So be very careful with that thing. Then always be careful with the primary and secondary sources of information, and you need to select as much as possible primary sources of information for the citation and reference. So I can give you one example. I'm writing a paper, and in that I'm taking a information which is written by which is found in a paper written by X, but that information is not X actual information. X is taken that information from Y, and he cited that Y's information, Y's details in his document. So basically, when I am quoting that information from X document, which is actually given in a different document given by another author named Y, I had to find out as much as possible, find out the original publication, that means Y's document, and then try to give that citation and reference. That is known as the primary source of information, primary source of citation. But if you're not able to find that thing, in that case, we can go with the secondary source of source for the citation. In that, formatting will be slightly different. So that you need to keep in your mind and check the right method of applying the secondary source of information in your paper if you are following that. Then always your citation and reference should be error-free completely. That means there should not be any kind of spelling mistake with respect to author name or title name, or article name, or journal name, or book name, or publisher's name. Any of this information should not be having any kind of spelling or grammatical error. That you need to be very careful. Now, we are moving to citation. There will be two types of citation, parenthetical versus narrative index citations. Parenthetical citation means you are enclosing, you are writing a particular information, and at the end of that statement, you are giving the citation which is enclosed in parenthesis. So this is the example here, rightly or wrongly, so and so. This is the statement which I have paraphrased from another sources. And at the end of that statement, I have to give the parenthetical mode of citations, where I am bringing the surname of both. This is the two authors are there for this particular citation, Blake and Bly. These are the surname of the authors. Use the surname or last name, and then separate both authors using the symbol. Then after both authors, give a comma, space, year of publication, and enclose parenthesis. Then followed by a full stop or appropriate punctuation. This is the parenthetical mode of citations. In the same place, I can go with the another method. Instead of giving the statement first, I'm going to say that thing. Blake and Bly said or reported that, rightly or wrong. So I'm bringing that citation element in the sentence. That is known as narrative citations, and which can be written as like this. Blake and Bly, same way you have to take the surname of the authors and separate the authors using the word and and then followed by, without any punctuations, you have to give the year of publications inside the parenthesis. Then you can continue the sentence like that. Blake and Bly in this particular year said that, rightly or wrongly, continue your sentence as it is. No issue for that. But the major difference is that here enter in parenthetical citation, which is placed normally end of the statement or end of the idea, and which will be enclosed all the information. That means all the informations and the year of publications, which is enclosed in parenthesis. And if there are more than one author, two author or three author, you have to use the ampersand symbol. You can't use the word and inside the parenthetical citation. But at the same time, if you're going with a narrative citation, instead of the symbol, you can use the word, you have to, not can, you have to use the word and as it is, and only the year of publications should be inside the parenthesis. This is the major difference between parenthetical and narrative citation. And as an author, you can take a call whether you need to follow parenthetical citation or narrative citations, or a mix of both in your document. There is no clear-cut rule for that thing. You can use in your document, you can go for one statement, you can go for parenthetical citation, and another one, if you feel that thing, I want to give us a narrative mode, go with that thing. There's no restriction for that thing. I hope you are getting this thing. Quite confusing again, but try to do that thing. Incorporate all this in your work, then you will be able to get it. Now, moving to the basic in-text citation style as per APA guidelines. This is a table given in the APA publication manual. Here they have given 3 sections and with different criteria. And that criteria is always based on the type of author. And second section deals with what is the appropriate parenthetical citation mode, and third one will be what is appropriate narrative citation mode. Here, if there is only one author, if you're taking information from a document which is authored by one person, then the parenthetical citation will be inside the parenthesis, give the surname of the author, then comma, year of publication, close the parenthesis. Narrative citation, take the author's name, first surname outside the parenthesis, and then enclose the year of publications inside the parenthesis. If there are 2 authors, I have already shown the example in the previous slide. In parenthetical citation, you have to separate 2 authors with and or symbol. That means ampersand symbol. And if it is a narrative citation, instead of the symbol, you have to use the word and as it is. If there are 3 or more than 3 authors, then you have to select the first author's surname, write it inside the parenthesis, followed by et al, et space al dot, then comma. This is the et al format is et, then no need to give any punctuation mark there, full stop there, et space al dot. That is a format. After that et al option, give the comma and year and then enclose the parenthesis. Same thing, the surname with et al options can go outside the parenthesis, and year of publication can be inside the parenthesis for narrative citations. Now, with this 3 or more authors, if you have more than 20 or 21 or more than 21 author, then the rule is slightly different. You have to refer the book. I'm not going to discuss that thing. I have given the example for that thing in the coming slide. You can refer later. And if there is any doubt in this thing, always please feel free to mail me. I can get back, clarify whenever you need to incorporate all those things. And instead of a single authors as a person, if you are taking a document which is written by a group of people or group of an institution or organization, for example, WHO, World Health Organization's document, if you're taking it, then how to give the parenthetical citation and how to give the narrative citation. First option is that a group author with abbreviations, non-abbreviations. That means here the example is National Institute of Mental Health, and they have a non-abbreviation as NIMH. For example, instead of that, we can think about World Health Organization. also. That is the non-abbreviations. In that case, the first time when you are using that particular citations, you have to completely give the author, group author's name as it is given in their document. That means National Institute of Mental Health, followed by a square bracket. There you have to give a abbreviated form of the same, enclose the square bracket, give comma, then year of publications, close the parenthesis. This is the format for parenthetical citation for the first time. If the same thing is repeating again in your document, that means for subsequent citations, then you can simply give the abbreviated form NIMS, comma, year of publication in a parenthetical mode. Same thing is applicable here also. In the first subsequent citations, the expanded form should be outside, and inside parenthesis, you can give the abbreviated form and year of publications. But in the case of a group author without a non-abbreviations, for example, Stanford University, that university doesn't have a abbreviated, non-abbreviated form. They are using the complete term as it is. In that case, you can't give any abbreviations which you are developing it. You have to completely give Stanford University, comma, year of publications. Then similar way of narrative citation also you have to follow. And this is a very basic rule, and there are number of exceptions to this particular rules. For a beginning phase, you need to start with this thing. And the moment you are coming up with something else, which I have listed one by one in the coming slides, if that happens, you have to check the rule for that particular option and then modify as and when it's required. So this is the additional points to be remembered while citing sources in text. When you have multiple sources in one parenthetical citation or narrative citations. So here the first example, I have taken this particular information. Suppose this is the information I have taken from 3 different sources. This information taken from the 3 different sources, and I have to give the citation for all 3 different sources inside the parenthesis. In that case, at the end of the sentence, before the full stop, give all the citations as per the rule given by the previous slide, whether it's 1 author, 3 author, or more than 2 author. Then each element, each source of citation, you need to single order here. So this is the one basic additional rule. Similar way, there is a number of additional rules. You need to explore all those things. These are the conditions, 1, 2, 3 conditions I have given here when you have multiple works to be cited in one citations, how it should be. Then citing specific parts of source. Sometimes you have to give a specific parts. For example, if you're giving a quotation, then you have to give it very specifically which page it's replicating. So in that case, you have to give the page number or page numbers or paragraph numbers, or sometimes table number, slide number. All those things needs to be additionally given. Then there is a specific format for that thing. In each section, what I have given in the pink color is the examples only, and the black colors are the criteria or conditions or rules that need to be followed. Then there are rules for unknown or anonymous author, unknown year of publication, translated or reprinted or republished or reissued dates work, then number of authors to include in the index citations that I have already mentioned, 1 author, 2 author. If there are more than 2 author at all option, then more than 21 author, again a different rule is coming. So that is in a different format. Then same narrative citation repeatedly in one paragraph. Second time onwards, you can omit the year. That is another rule. Then avoiding ambiguity. If you have same authors with the same name, then give the complete name. Avoid maximum ambiguity in your text citation. There set number of rules are there. Due to lack of time, I'm not explaining it, but you can check the examples given here. Then moving to the reference component, which is again having elements of a reference. Every reference should have 4 components. One is with respect to author, who is written or who is responsible for that particular book or article, when it is published, that is date is a component, title, and then followed by sources. So sources means if it is a journal, DOI, digital object identifiers is a mandatory thing. If no DOI for the journal, then you can give the URL options. If it is a non-periodicals, you have to give that means if it is a book or edited book, you have to give the name of the publisher. Like that, you have to give a 4 main components in your reference sections. So there are some kind of principles of reference. First one is include all the elements in the reference. Second one is punctuations within the reference list entries. To separate each component, you can use the punctuations. But at the end of DOI or URL, you are not supposed to give any punctuation, even a full stop. The moment you are giving a punctuation there, the URL or DOIs get invalid. So please don't give any punctuation there. But otherwise, to separate all the components, all 4 components, you have to give the appropriate punctuations. Then accuracy and consistency in reference that I have already mentioned along with the citation part. Then the general guidelines to include reference in your document as per APA. First of all, determine the reference category appropriately, whether it's taken from the book or edited book or journal with DOI or website, whatever it is, determine it correctly. Each entry typically includes all 4 elements. That means author, date, title, and source. And then ensure the accuracy of the reference components and carefully verify each reference against the original publications. Be very careful where you are checking with the original publication. And as much as possible, use a primary source for giving the citation and references. And begin all the reference section. The heading of the reference section can be begin in a new page with a centrally aligned heading of reference, which should be given in a bold and centered option. Then keep your all reference list in an alphabetically order based on the surname of the author as per APA guidelines. And each line should be double space. And then apply hanging indent hanging indent with the 0.5 inch for the first line. That means hanging indent means first line. If you have 3 lines of one reference list, the first line should be started from the left side and the second and third line should be indented 0.5 inch. This is the opposite rule of paragraph indentation. Paragraph indentation, we are giving the first line is indenting. Here, first line will not be indented. The second and third and the coming lines will be indented. That is known as a hanging indent option. This option, you can easily get it from the paragraph space option in the word processing system. Then, APA journals use Arabic numerals for volume numbers. So if you're writing the volume number, you have to give 3, 2 as Arabic, using the Arabic numerals. And you can use the Roman numerals if it is reflecting in the title of the article or title of the book or title of something else. Otherwise, no need to use the Roman letters to denote any numbers in the reference component. Then only acceptable abbreviations can be used in your references section, which is listed again by the APA publication manual. So now I'll just give some examples of the reference components. This is the format for giving references from a periodicals. Periodicals means journals, magazines, news articles, all those things are journals and magazines actually. So here the first option is that first component is author, then date, title of the article, source. Source can be title of the periodical and DOI or URL. So if a journal is having a DOI, then you have to give the author's information first. Here in this thing, you will be able to see 2 authors, which is started with their surname followed by the initials. So if you are using the surname, for example, my name is Anu Ann Spires. So if you're citing my document, it should be cited and referenced with Pius. Pius, comma, in reference, Pius, comma, abbreviated form of my first and second name, Anu and Ans, A dot A comma. So that is a form for the 3 name people. If it's a 2 name, Anu Ans, then Ans can be the name as it is, followed by a comma. Then A will be the instead of Anu first name, I can use the name letter A for that. And all the others needs to be separated with a ampersand symbol, not use the word A and here. Followed by year of publications in bracket, full stop. Then the article name, language learning as language use, colon, a cross linguistic model of child language development. This you have to keep it as it is from the title of the article. Then again give the full stop. You are separating that component. Then followed by the journal name. Journal name should be in italics mode. And followed by the volume number 1 to 6. Again, it should be in italics number. But if there's an issue number, this should be placed immediately after the volume number within a parenthesis, and no need to italics that number. So in a reference component, for especially from a journal, the journal name and volume number should be in italics form. Then comma, after the issue number, comma, you can give the page number 1 to 51, and then or 1 to 10, whichever is appropriate, you can give that thing, and full stop. Followed by, you have to give the DOI in this particular format. https dot /DOI, like that, the DOI will be there. You have to give that DOI. In the case, if there is no DOI for a journal article, in that case, rest all is same. Instead of the DOI, you can give the URL. So URL is not the first option. Always try to get the DOI for the journal article. If in case that article doesn't have a DOI, then you can go with the URL option. Then if article is in press, that means it's not completely published, it is under the production phase. In that case, you can just add in press instead of year of publications. Immediately after the author's details, you have to give in press in wordings, which is enclosed in the parenthesis instead of year of publications. And then no need to have the URL or DOI for there. You can end with the journal name. So this is one example for giving reference from periodicals. Then there are other rules for periodicals: journal article with a DOI for more than 21 authors, journal article with a magazine article, journal article, article from a newspaper, then like that. So number of options are there. You have to explore all those things whenever the need comes, whenever you need to do it in your research study. Followed by books and reference. If you are taking any information from a particular book, either an edited book or a normal book, you have to follow certain rules and regulations. Again, the components are same. Author informations, which should be start with the surname followed by the initials, enclosed in the year of publications, and then followed that the book name should be in italics. And immediately after the book name, you have to give the edition name without italics form, if it is there. If there is no edition, that means only one edition, no need to give that thing. So book name should be italics. In the case of journal, journal name should be italics. Article title no need to be in italics. Here book name should be in italics. Then the publisher name, American Psychological Association, and the DOI if it is available. If there is no DOI, you can just limit to the publisher's details. Then authored book without DOI, I have already mentioned. Authored book with editor credited on the cover page. That means book is authored by one person and the same book is edited by another person. In that case, you have to give the editor information immediately after the title of the book, which is again enclosed in parenthesis. There you can write the D comma surname, then comma. You have to write E capital and D as a abbreviated form, which indicating the editor. Here you can see the edition. There you have to give abbreviated form ED, which both should be in small letters. So this is the accepted abbreviated forms which you can use in the reference column. Similar way for editor or editors. If it is editors, multiple editors are there, then EDS. In that, E should be capital. So this is the way you have to be very careful to incorporate certain elements in your reference sections. Now, from in the coming slides, I have given each rule or each specific situations where you need to use different rules. With an example, I have given one volume of a multi-volume book or book in a series, or if you are using a diagnostic manual, DSM or DSM or ICD-11, all those things, how to do that thing, all those things are there. If in case you are quoting Bible or Quran or any kind of religious work, how it should be added to the references, all those things having a separate list of rules. So what you can do is that no one, even till now, for me also, it is not possible to by heart all these rules. I have to refer. Whenever I need to cite or reference something which is not in the regular format or some additional rules required, I have to refer. So please follow that thing. Refer back to the manual, original publication manual, and use the appropriate citation format. So with this, I'm just winding up the referencing session. Otherwise, it will not end. So almost going to the last section of the session. So I'll just wind up my complete sections with a few more slides. Always you can just check the guidelines given in the slides, and at any point of time, if you have any clarifications required when you are doing your work, please mail me as much as possible. I will get back to the clarifications. And there are some additional references, not only books and website or peer journals. There will be reviews, there will be unpublished work, there will be data set, there will be published web page, website, online media, legal materials. All those things are having separate tools. The last two chapters, I think not last two chapters, chapter 10 and 11 exclusively discuss the referencing guidelines by the APA. And now I have mentioned that thing. Along with APA or apart from APA, there are a number of other referencing and citation styles which is followed in the academic and research community, which is including MLA, Chicago, Tuberian, IEEE, Vancouver, Harvard, Blue Book, AMA. So in this slide, what I have done is that I have just given the brief information about each style of writing and who is predominantly, which discipline is predominantly used in the respective citation, and who is the publisher or developer of that citation style or referencing style, and which is the latest edition and the year of that latest edition that I have given in this particular table. You can refer. If in case you are going with the journal which is followed by Vancouver style, you have to refer the particular manual given by Citing Medicine second edition, which is known as Citing Medicine second edition, given by NLM Style Guide for Authors. So this you have to refer. Similar way, whichever style you need to go, you have to check that thing. For your information only, I have given this detailed table, and always be careful. Please take the latest edition or latest publication manual from the respective citation and referencing style. Do not go for the old one at all. Then now, till now, I have discussed the citation and referencing, how to do it manually. And it's a very quite heavy task, tough task for everyone. But we have to do, no other chance to avoid this thing. We have to incorporate citation and referencing completely in our document to get out from the plagiarism element. At the same time, there are a number of softwares which will help us to do the citation and referencing in an easy manner. And the advantage of using this software for citation and referencing will be, they are giving the latest edition based style, as well as I can switch the citation from APA to AMA easily, or APA to Vancouver easily, or I can switch back from Vancouver to APA, depending upon where I'm going to send the article. For example, I'm going to send an article right now to a journal which is followed by APA style of writing. I have done everything fine, and I send it. Unfortunately, that paper got rejected by the particular journal. Then I had to look for another journal, and I found another good journal, but that journal is followed by a different style of writing. Then I had to do everything manually to that particular thing. Instead of that, if I'm using a software like EndNote, Mendeley, Zotero, LaTeX, or BibTeX, Works, reference generators, all those things are the softwares which we can depend to use the citation and referencing. We can easily switch from one citation to another citation without any heavy task. We have to do some minimal work there, but not quite very easy work compared to a manual work. And in this, EndNote and Mendeley are paid softwares.
Excuse me, ma'am.
But
Excuse me, ma'am.
yes, yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. We have only 6 more
Yeah, okay,
minutes
sir.
to
Just
start
1
the
minute, sir.
validation session, ma'am.
1 minute, sir. I will just wind up. This is the last slide, I think. Sir, it's okay?
Yes, okay, ma'am.
Okay. So you can use either paid version, or you can go for the previous version, which is available freely, or you can use the other softwares also possible with that thing. Now, this is the complete reference which I have followed for this particular presentation, especially again with the American Psychological Publication Manual and Bryman's textbook and Creswell's book also followed. So you can refer these books, and at any point of time, you can get back to me for any clarification required in this particular session. Session is open for the question answer. Please. Sir, I have wind up my sessions.
Thank you, madam. Now, session is open for interaction. Those who want to clarify any doubt or any query, please.
One question, madam.
Yeah, thanks.
One question.
Tell me, ma'am.
Actually, somewhere, no, you have written that Quran, it is written by somebody and published. You have given the year of publication and the publication publishing company. It is Oxford University Press. But there, no, you haven't mentioned any place. Isn't is it
I got it,
necessary?
No, ma'am.
Yes.
As per APA 6th edition style, we
Okay.
are supposed to give the place of the publishers along with the book reference list. But based on the 7th edition, they have updated the guidelines and no need to give the place along with the publisher's name. So we
Okay,
can.
okay.
And
madam, thank you. What we have present, I can say, and what we have for our, I mean, for people like me, for the freshers, it's okay, but for us, no. What we had used in our thesis, it is actually outdated, and it's nice to listen to you. And I feel it is very, you know, it is also very difficult to manage such long, learning. It's a long learning process, and it is very difficult to manage within this short span of time. So it's okay. Good presentation.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we should be part of it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Ma'am, I have one question. Actually, I'm writing engineering thesis.
Okay.
Can I use this American Psychological Association manual?
No,
I think
no, sir. If it is an engineering, you have to follow the IEEE citation and referencing style. So that is the beginning. I have told you that thing. This style is predominantly used in the social science field. But if you are working on a multidisciplinary paper which you are going to publish in a journal following APA style, definitely you can follow.
Not paper. I'm writing a thesis, actually, PhD
Then,
work.
sir, you need to check your university guidelines and what style they are preferring. Most of the cases, IEEE style of referencing and citation will be followed for engineering sessions, engineering disciplines. Please check that thing, sir.
Okay. And is this American Psychological Association, his book is available, this style of?
Yeah, its book is available, and you can buy book, ebook, or hard copy book also. Also, Purdue All is a website which is giving the free practice sessions and guidelines based on the all referencing style and all kinds of referencing and citation style, including IEEE Vancouver. So that's a good
Oh, yes.
website you can really depend on. Purdue All, PERDUE.OWL. That is a website name, so that you can refer. Anyone
Okay,
can
okay.
refer. They
Okay.
are giving authenticated information from all the style of writing.
Can you mention your email in the chat box, ma'am, please?
My email ID, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Sir, I can mention that in the chat box. Already I mentioned in the PPT also.
Okay,
When you
okay,
are
okay.
getting the
Thank,
PPT, you can get it from that. I will write
okay.
it.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Nice presentation.
Thank you so much.
Good evening, ma'am.
Hello,
Good evening.
good evening, ma'am. It was a really beautiful session.
Thank you.
I just wanted to ask, with respect to case studies,
Yes.
suppose if we are writing and publishing a case study
Okay.
for any of companies, do we need to specifically take the permission of the companies before publishing it?
Yes, definitely, sir. That not only for the publications. Even if we are before writing, we have to take the permission in writing. Otherwise, it will be having a legal and ethical consequences. So nowhere we can't write without the permission of the organizations anywhere.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, when we are referencing the website or article, should we write the retrieve date or not?
Retrieve date.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that is applicable for some particular situations. I told you that you have to refer that manual. I haven't discussed the website referencing method here in this session. So in that APA publication manual, they have given separately for a website and web page referencing sections. And in that, separate rules are there where you need to cite or give the information retrieved, or no need to give the retired date. It's both are applicable. In certain situations, you have to give the retired date. Certain situations, you are not supposed to give that date. Please refer that chapter and find out the respective sessions. Due to lack of time, I could not take that information today. Is it clear, ma'am?
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
I have to read the book.
Yes, ma'am. And this one, with one session, it is not possible for
Yes,
us
ma'am.
to incorporate all those rules. We have to refer
Yes,
the book.
ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Myself Archana Nihare. Ma'am, I want to know, sometimes we try to find full length paper, but that time we don't find, ma'am, full length paper. We
Yes.
find abstract only.
Yes,
So
yes.
in that case,
TPIOUS, I didn't know.
Yes.
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 ma'am, in that case,
Yes.
In that case,
can we add abstract in our review of literature, ma'am?
you can, if the information is technically, we have to get the full paper to know the exact content they have given in that paper. But if we are not able to get, if you are able to manage the informations what we need from the abstract, you can use that thing and give the citation and referencing. So no issue for giving that thing. But if information is not clear, do not assume that the author may given information in such a way in the paper and I'm giving it. So that is not advisable. If the information is clear, you can refer the abstract also. Fine.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes. So thank you so much, ma'am, for the beautiful presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Now we are moving on to the validity session. Over to you, Roshni Bola, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Now we come to the concluding part of this event, validatory session. Once again, good evening, one and all. Distinguished guests, faculty members, participants, and esteemed colleagues. I, Dr. K. Rosnibala Devi, Assistant Professor, Department of Home Science, Standard College, and Organizing Secretary of this event. I welcome you all for this today's validatory session of this 10 days international workshop on research methodology, quantitative research methodology, methods, tools, techniques, and application in hybrid mode from 17 September to 26 September 2025, organized by Southfield College, Darjeeling, West Bengal, JP College of Arts and Science, Tenkasi, Tamil Nadu, and Department of Chemistry and Department of Home Science Standard College, Manipur, in collaboration with RC25 Sociology of Sports, Indian Sociological Society, New Delhi, Faculty of Arts and Culture, Southeastern University of Sri Lanka, Integrated Institute of Disaster Management, Tamil Nadu. We have had an enriching 10 days exploring quantitative research methodologies, tools like statistical tests, data analysis techniques, and their application across discipline in an hybrid mode, accommodating participants globally. I trust the interaction sessions and learning have been insightful and will enhance participants' research acumen. I would like to introduce today's valedictory speaker. It is my honor to introduce Professor Dr. Sanjay Tiwari, convener RC25 Sociology of Sports, Indian Sociological Society, New Delhi, who will deliver the valedictory address. Sir Tiwari's expertise and contributors are highly regarded, and we look forward to his reflection on the workshop theme and broad implication. Over to you, sir.
Good evening. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, sir. Very loud and clear.
Okay. Okay.
Yes,
Uh,
yes, sir. Audible.
okay. Good evening. Good evening, my dear participants who are my colleagues also. When I say participants, it means that we are peers, we are colleagues, and because I personally see that in my life, I have tried to know one thing, that whomsoever you meet knows something you do not know, you know. So if in case we go by this tradition, all of us are learners, even me also, you know, everybody. And good evening once again. It was a 10 days workshop, and this was not the first part. It was the fifth workshop also. And we have been trying to collaborate with the different sort of universities and different colleges also. But a special place as far as Manipur is concerned. Manipur has always been there. The Integrated Institute of Disaster Management has also been there. And this time we had the JP College and the Southfield College, Darjeeling also. We had some offline presentations there also. So these 10 days, you know, when we were basically trying to design this structural 10 days workshop, you know, because 10 days time is too much, you know, and then the time, basically what will be the time frame. So then when it was thought, basically in all our workshops it was 6 to 8 only, but we thought that it was the most suitable period also for everybody, because back to from our places to our desks, we can have a cup of coffee, cup of tea also, and enjoy the lectures with the luxury of being at your own places. So when it came to selection of the resource persons, it was very important for us to decide so that it should not be a sort of a repetition. For example, just now we were hearing means this last lecture which we just now were listening to Dr. Pius. He spoke very you can say academically about the APA style of functioning. And you know, APA has always been a sort of a bone of contention or a matter of deliberation and discourse. And whenever people try to go with some paper, writing paper and all these things, that APA styles comes. And it's very important today for us not only to know about the APA or any other issues also, which are really very important as far as writing a publication is concerned. Now, my dear teachers and students and scholars and my colleagues also, you know, what is happening is that basically we are concentrated only in attending conferences, and basically we do not concentrate much as far as writing of the research papers is concerned. And not to say anything about more, we do know that if in case you go for a quality paper, it takes more than 2 years, at least 1.5 or 2 years. I just got a paper published in Springer. It took me 2 years, So it does take some time. So these sort of workshops in which we try to put in a lot of energy, do try to give us some more wisdom, more knowledge, and more add-ons, because nobody is complete, as I previously said, This time, as far as this workshop was concerned, we basically tried to think over the qualitative and quantitative research methodologies and the tools basically and the techniques and how they can be applied. So it was a part of this workshop. Over these 10 days, naturally, you had the opportunity to listen to Professor Fazil, who's the dean at the Southeastern University at Oliville, Sri Lanka. We had naturally Professor Nizamir also, who is working very much in the area. He is the Faculty of Arts there in the Sri Lankan part of the globe itself. We had Dr. Rahul Kapoor. He initiated this this workshop, and we heard him. He's from the Gautam Buddha University. Naturally, Shibu Muthu is a very nice researcher, and he publishes frequently. He's also sent us a paper for our research committee on sociology of sports, likely to be published also. So Shibi's views were also very great. We had Dr. Norby Paul, we had Dr. Mohammed Shahid Ali. Just now we heard some views about Dr. Sebati Malik also. She's a colleague of mine also from Odisha. She deliberated greatly on issues. Then we had Dr. Vasanti over here. We had Shobna Selvaraj. Shobna Selvaraj was also in the last workshop also, and she spoke very profoundly last time about the Excel and all these things, and this time also, because she comes from basically a statistical background. Naturally, you must have heard Professor Ambati Nageshwar Rao. He's a scholar, and he has loads of work as far as the statistical tools are concerned. So, and today, naturally, we heard Dr. Ans over here as far as the APA presentations are concerned. Valedictory is a very formal sort of a talk when we go for a formal talk, but my talk will not be very formal, rather it will be very informal. We have tried to grow up rather during these past 4, 5, 6 workshops which we held during the span of almost a year and a half or something like this. And we have tried to develop more and more and more. And naturally, when we come up next time with a research methodology workshop, we'll try to see that what more can be the add-ons based on your feedback, and students, researchers, scholars, my colleagues. Whenever you try to give a feedback, please be critical about the issues if in case you want to say anything. Otherwise, simply for the sake that there was a technical glitch, no issue. We are connected to the internet. At times we do have some technical glitches, but we would like to hear more about the content of the workshop. That is really that will give us some sort of a more preparation time for the next time when we try to meet all of you. So having said all these things, since I come from a very great research background and I've written extensively in the area of sports sociological studies, and I carry a very big research committee with the Indian Sociological Society also. So I have very many, you can say, loads as far as this is concerned. So I was in touch with Dr. Bennett throughout this workshop. Thanks to him for initiating everything over here. Thanks to our other organizing secretary, and let me thank Professor Vasudevan sir. We have Dr. Lepacha over here. We have Subharani Devi ji. We have Roshni Bala madam, who is here also, who introduced me also. So they have been through this workshop, and we were in touch continuously, because for the past 6 days I am traveling here and there. I went to Patiala, then Guru Nanak Dev University, then Chandigarh, then Lakshmi Bai College. So I came back today in the morning itself, had a great review about all the discussions with that. We also talked to some of our teachers, also resource persons also. So having said all these things, I do think that you people must have tried to add on something with this 10-day workshop as far as some SPSS is concerned, some research methodology is concerned, the tools, the techniques, their implementations in your daily research, and some very simple questions such as, can we use the abstract in the form of the referencing, and the reasonable answer by Dr. Pius also, So these are very great outcomes of the workshop which we could deliver. I'm really thankful to all of our technical team. You all have my email ID and my cell numbers also. You people are all the time free to reach either to me or to the faculty or to Dr. Bennett also, who has been working day in and day out without losing an iota of patience. So, meaning arranging your more than 175 or 200 odd participants in a particular day is always tedious. And the last word will be that, please, whenever you try to attend the workshop, please try to be particularly present there with your conscious mind. When I say about the conscious mind, I mean that the subconscious mind should be kept totally inactive. It should be only conscious. So whatever we try to listen to our experts goes at least 20 to 30 to 35% for us, So having said all these things, I said it's all over for my side. The technical aspect will be taken care of Divagar and Dr. Bennett itself. As far as the feedback forms and all this is concerned, we are open for all these suggestions. I thank you very much for imposing faith in us, because we are real scholars. We try to give, and before I finally put my voice to a rest, let me tell you that as far as the monetary systems were concerned, we tried to be very specific, We kept a very meager amount of 600 rupees for our student scholars, and we kept only 800 rupees for the our faculty itself, and the amount of labor which involved is that we provide certificates. We provide certificates by post also, since the UGC has some of its own regulations. So we are trying to do our optimum best. I'm looking forward to more such sort of a deliberations from all of you, and I'm open to your suggestions also. At the end, I thank all of our experts who have been putting hard labor and trying to spread the word of wisdom and knowledge as far as this research methodology workshop.
Hey, back and forth.
Thank you all very much, and Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. The dice is yours now. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your thoughtful valedictory address. We appreciate your insights. Next, I have the pleasure of inviting Dr. J. Binit Rajadurai, Assistant Professor, Department of Sociology, Guru Nanak College, Chennai, and the International Organizing Secretary of the STEM International Workshop, to share some closing thoughts on this workshop. Your contribution to organizing this event has been pivotal, and we look forward to your thoughts. Over to you, sir.
Yes. So thank you so much for all the participants from Kashmir to Kanyakumari for joining this wonderful event on quantitative research methodology for the 10 days international workshop. It was organized by RC25 Sociology of Sports under the guideship of Professor Dr. Sanjay Tiwari, sir, and Department of Sociology, Southfield College, Darjeeling, Department of Humanities, JP College of Arts and Science, Benghazi, followed by Department of Home Science, Standard College, and Department of Chemistry, Standard College. As a secretariat, I'm very happy to thank you all from the bottom of my heart. And I have to thank all the resource persons for both online as well as offline. The people who were traveled far away from Sri Lanka, they came to India, they have stayed here for 10 days. And tomorrow they are leaving to their country. And there's a long journey. They with us. They came to Darjeeling as well as they came to Tamil Nadu. And now tomorrow they are leaving. And regarding your certificates, we have dispatched all your certificates by tomorrow. and we will send you the tracking ID also. Kindly fill the feedback form. Meanwhile, if you have any doubt, you are most welcome to talk to us. We are here to assist you, right? And we are not enterprise. We are completely an educationist. And sincere thanks to all the coordinators, all the organizing secretaries and patrons, chief patrons, and ISS, all the authorities from the ISS who gave permissions to organize such an event, and they go posted our brochure in the ISS website. So it's not a simple task; it's a huge task, but everything went on well. I have to thank the technical committee, the coordinators team, the forwarding authorities, all the people who have worked on the screen or off the screen. We have to thank everybody for online as well as offline. Thank you so much for your active participation. And formally, as a secretariat, I formally conclude the seminar by saying, thank you so much. May God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you,
very
sir.
much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for insightful space.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, and
Thank
thank
you,
you
ma'am.
everyone for making this